I'm Taylor Bryan here with Behind the Badge. On this episode, we will be talking with Ms. Reed, the head of the Communications Department of City Hall. Okay, so let's begin. Ms. Reed, so can you give us a quick insight on the department and how long you've been in your position?
Absolutely. Well, I've been with the City of Fayetteville for 26 years. When we first started, we were not under the police department. We've been our own department. We've been under the fire department. And since 2006, I think we've been under the police department. I've been in my position since 2011. It's a position that I really enjoy, since I really enjoy working as a telecommunicator. So this is just the next step for that.
And what exactly do y'all do?
We are the 911 center for the City of Fayetteville. There's also one for Cumberland County. So we handle calls for in the city limits. It's about 220 to 240,000 citizens in the City of Fayetteville. So we receive 911 calls. We dispatch police, first responders, as well as fire. We do not dispatch the ambulance service. That's done by Cumberland County. But we do take the calls for medical.
Okay. So to clarify some information, if someone wanted to contact 911, could they send a text?
They can send a text. As a matter of fact, we've been receiving texts for, I'm going to say 5, 6, maybe 7 years. But we put that information out all the time. People forget that you can text 911. Now, we prefer that you call if you can and text when you can't. Some differences for receiving text: your location is not guaranteed like it is when you make a phone call. So the first question we may ask you when you text us is, can you call us? Because we do prefer that you call. And it's a much smoother process for calling versus texting. Because, you know, as you guys know, that texting can be misunderstood. Yeah.
Of course. And why does a 911 operator ask so many questions?
Okay. Well, we are accredited under the International Academy of Emergency Dispatch, which requires that we ask questions, ask certain questions, and ask them in a certain way. If we don't ask them that way, we're gigged on them. But what the citizens don't really understand, there are about 14 people working back there at a time. So if you're on the phone with one person that's taking your call and asking all these questions, there's somebody else who sees that call. Once you enter that call, everybody back there can see it. And once that call is entered, somebody else is dispatching that call prior to the call taker getting off the phone. So it may seem like a long call, may seem like a lot of questions, but I promise you the questions are necessary, and that we're not going to wait till the end of the questioning process to send help to you.
Okay. There's a PSA that recently came out about Kerrys Law. Can you explain that law to us?
Absolutely. Just a little bit about Kerry, who she is. The law was named for Kerry Hunt, and her father petitioned for this law after Kerry was killed by her estranged husband in a hotel. Her 9-year-old daughter tried several times to dial 911, and she couldn't. It never reached 911. And some of you guys may be familiar with the fact that when you call from hotels, hospitals, even businesses, you have to dial 9 first to get an outside line. Well, that's what Kerry's 9-year-old daughter didn't know. So when she was told to dial 911, she dialed 911, which didn't get her an outside line. So what Kerrys Law does is, for hospitals and businesses, what we call multi-line telephone systems. Anybody that has a multi-line telephone system has to make sure that you can dial 911 directly without dialing a 9 first. You may have to dial 9 to get out to call maybe your friend or another business, but to dial 911, you do not have to dial that 9. And that law went into effect actually in February 16th, 2018, but it became law 1 year later.
Okay. If you accidentally dial 911, what should you do or not do?
If you accidentally dial 911, we just ask that you stay on the phone and let us know that it was an accident, because accidents do happen. Because for the most part, and it's not 100%, that's why we ask you your address and your phone number when you call 911. We verify the information that comes in. So, but your information does come in, whether it's a cell tower, whether it's your actual phone number of your phone. If it's your landline, it's the resident, the house that you live in. So first thing we're gonna do is call it back. So, and if we call it back and we don't get someone on the phone or tell us that everything's okay, we're going to dispatch a police officer out there to make sure, do a well-being check just to see if you're okay. unlike what some kids believe, they're going to get in trouble because we're going to send the police to pick them up. No, that's not what we're doing. We're sending out just to do a well-being check to make sure everything's okay at the house.
And are y'all an accredited agency?
We are, and I'm glad you asked. That's one thing we're very proud of is our accreditation. We are accredited through the International Academy of Emergency Dispatch, and we're also accredited through CALEA. Our accreditation through CALEA used to be just a division under the police department, but right now we are accredited separately from the police department. So we have a communications accreditation, and what that does for us, accreditations kind of hold us to a higher standard, and it gives us more accountability, and we're all for that.
And how can you get a job with 911?
Well, since we are a division under the police department, which is police department is a division under the City of Fayetteville, you have a couple websites you can go to. You can go to the City of Fayetteville's website and look for jobs if there's a opening, or you can look under the police department's website for any positions. Right now, we are currently not open, and we only accept applications when we are hiring.
What types of training or certifications are required?
Well, there aren't any certifications that are required prior to being employed with us, because we do all our training here and we make sure you have all the certifications that you need, whether it's the EMD, EFD, EPD, DCI certifications. You go through a long training process. It's about 3 months. So we make sure you get all the certification, all the training you need before we let you loose on the floor out there.
All right. And what is it like working for communications?
I think it's a fun job. Now, it depends on who you ask because it's very demanding. Number one, it's a stressful job. It's a 12-hour shift. There are night shifts, there are day shifts. When I say it's demanding, because it requires a lot of responsibility to your job. It takes away from family life. You're here on holidays, you're here on weekends, you're here on birthdays, anniversaries, depending on how your schedule falls. Now, you do get your time off, so if you kind of save your time a little bit and want to put in for a week or two off on vacation, you can definitely do that. But I think it's a very fun job. We're a close-knit group of people back there. We call ourselves family.
Yeah. And how do you handle the stress?
Well, we have a few outlets of handling stress. Like I said, we do sit back there for 12 hours at a time, and some shift leaders are a little more creative than others. They can do things. They play like what we call dispatch bingo. If you get a robbery call, and that's what it's like N95 on a bingo card, and then they put something on there, and whoever finishes bingo first, they may give them a surprise. But we try to do things like team building throughout the year. We have classes that we give them. We try to do some kind of de-escalation training as well for us, because things out there that affect the departments, like the police department and fire department, affect us as well. A lot of people forget about that when it comes to the telecommunicators, that they are first responders.
Okay, well, thank you. That was all my questions.
Okay.
So thank you, Ms. Reed. This is Taylor Bryan with Behind the Badge.
Thank you.